All right, let's dive into a really fascinating story from the Magic Forest series. Picture this. You're welcomed home, like a hero, a friend everyone thought was dead, but then you have to confess you're actually a fugitive. This is a story all about how fast a good reputation can be destroyed and how sometimes the only person you think you can trust is the last one you ever should. So, our story kicks off with a real mystery. You've got this old man, and he just looks, well, he looks like he's seen better days. He wanders into this small, quiet village, dressed in weird clothes, and carrying this giant wine gourd that he's constantly drinking from. Right away, you can feel the tension. The villagers are on high alert. I mean, a stranger like this? He's setting off all kinds of alarm bells.
But then, just when the suspicion is at its peak, something incredible happens. The village elders lay eyes on him, and everything changes in an instant. The fear, the suspicion, it all just melts away and turns into pure shock. Because to them, this isn't some random wanderer. This is their old friend, Guru Phai, a man they all thought had died years ago.
And the reunion is just, wow. It's so emotional. You've got tears, total disbelief, but mostly just overwhelming joy. His friends are all hugging him, remembering the terrible story they'd heard, that he'd been killed by wild animals out in the forest. So to see him standing right there in front of them, it feels like an actual miracle. That celebration doesn't last very long, though. As they're all sitting around that night, sharing a drink, one of his closest friends just gets this bad feeling he can't shake. He can tell Guru Phai isn't just there for a happy visit. There's this darkness hanging over him, this feeling that he's not just visiting, he's hiding. He's running from something awful.
And that's when the truth finally spills out. Guru Phai looks over his shoulder like he's expecting someone to burst in at any second, and he confesses. The reason he vanished, the reason everyone thought he was dead, it's because he was accused of being a thamop, a witch, and he had to run for his life. So how in the world does a respected man suddenly get branded a monster? His friends are just stunned. They know this man. They know he doesn't mess with dark magic. And that's when Guru Phai starts to tell them the whole chilling story of how he was set up piece by piece. Man, this timeline is just brutal. Look how fast his life falls apart. It all starts when he stumbles upon 2 dead buffalo. He accidentally slips in the gore, and as he's running to get cleaned up, someone sees him. That's it. That one little moment is all it takes for the rumor mill to just explode. It really shows you the power of superstition, you know? In just a few days, nobody will sell him food, and kids are literally pointing at him, calling him a witch. And the whole thing comes to a head when the body of a young boy is planted behind his house. That gives the mob all the proof they need. Now, here's a really crucial detail. During this whole nightmare, when literally everyone turned their backs on him, there was one person who was kind to him. Another sorcerer, a guy named Guru Kla. He told Phai he didn't believe the rumors and offered him friendship. Remember that name. It becomes very important later. And this was the nail in the coffin. Once they found that poor boy's body, there was no more room for doubt in the villagers' minds. That was it. An angry mob grabbed him, tied him up, and threw him into an iron cage to wait for the authorities to come and, well, execute him. So he's trapped. He knows there's no way he's getting a fair trial. He's facing certain death. Guru Phai knew he had only one choice left. He had to rely on his own skills, his own magic, to get out of there. He waited for just the right moment. Then he lunged for a nearby campfire, scooping up a handful of hot ash. He chanted a quick spell over it, blew the enchanted embers at the cage's lock, and it just shattered. At the exact same second, the 2 guards watching him just slumped over, fast asleep. He grabbed his bag, his wine gourd, and just vanished into the mountains. So he's free, but his new life is one of complete and total isolation. He finds this old abandoned hut way up in the mountains and just lives there like a hermit, surviving on whatever he can hunt or by sneaking into faraway villages to trade for supplies where no one would know his face. But just when you think the story is about his lonely survival, his life in exile is about to get turned upside down. A new friendship is about to lead him into a nightmare even worse than the one he just escaped. And you'll never guess who tracks him down. It's Guru Kla, the one guy who was nice to him back in the village. Kla finds his hideout, brings him food and supplies, and they become really close friends, spending their days hunting together out in the wilderness. So one day they're out hunting, and Kla manages to take down a tigress. They're thrilled, right? They drag the massive cat back to the hut to butcher it. And right there, they make a huge, fatal mistake. the kind of mistake you just don't make in the jungle. Because that very same night, they're woken up by this terrifying sound. It's the tigress's mate, and this thing is described as being the size of a cow. It's found them, it's furious, and it starts tearing their little hut to shreds, roaring with so much force, the whole place is shaking. They're completely trapped. It feels like it's all over. The tiger is about to smash through the door. But then Guru Klaser does something that absolutely stuns Phai. He pulls out this small, strange talisman, whispers a few words, and just throws it out the window. And what happens next is just unbelievable. From that tiny talisman, a ghostly figure appears, a woman with wild hair, wearing all black. And this spirit immediately attacks the giant tiger. All of a sudden, this isn't two men fighting an animal anymore. It's a full-on supernatural battle happening right outside their door. In that moment, Guru Phai looks at his friend in a totally new way. He asks Klaser if he raises spirits, and Klaser, completely calm, says yes. He says he raises all of them, spirits, ghosts, even these things called conehawk, which are like child golems. And Phai gets this sinking feeling as he realizes his only friend is a master of the exact same dark arts he was almost killed for. And that leaves us with this huge question, right? In a world where an innocent man is hunted as a monster and his only ally commands the dead, who's the real villain here? The vengeful tiger or the man pulling the strings of a ghost? It really makes you think. Who can you ever really trust?